Hello, and welcome to Rock Your Block, where we highlight individuals within the community that are making an impact. I'm your host, Larry Laws. On today's segment of First Home Alliance, we have a very special guest joining us. He is owner and operator of Kitchen Veteran LLC, a personal chef and catering company that provides services such as catering, private dining, and meal prep services. Before charting his career in Culinary Arts, he was in the United States Army, where he served combat tours in Operation Enduring Freedom, Afghanistan, and Operation Iraq Freedom. He has boxed professionally and trained both boxers and UFC fighters. Please welcome to our show today, Chef Ron Reaves. Chef Ron.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you for coming in to our show today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. Well, you know, I invited you in for a lot of good reasons. Really appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
But I would like for our audience to get to know you.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I'm a local guy from the DMV area. Grew up in Largo, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Northeast, Southeast, Eastover, but primarily in Woodbridge, Virginia. Went into the military straight after high school, not sure of what it was I wanted to do, as most high school kids are. And the Army recruiter was very simple and blunt with it. He said, you might as well join something and get a paycheck while you're trying to figure it out. Okay. So I took his words, and I joined the Army.
Okay. All right. And what was your MOS?
I was at 88 Mike, so a transportation specialist.
Okay, that's a little bit different from what you're doing now.
Way different. Way different.
Okay. Yes. We know that you're a chef now.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And so, what is your day job? What do you do?
Currently,
yes,
owner operator of Kitchen Veteran LLC. Right now, I'm working with a client who lives in North Carolina. I have another client in Washington, D.C., a family that I do weekly meal preps for. Okay. The client in North Carolina, I'm actually doing a little bit of traveling with them, so I'm just returning from Puerto Rico. Okay. After being out there for a week, basically cooking and relaxing.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yes. That's great if you can do both of those.
Yes, sir.
I don't know, it's pretty intense for me. I mean, in the kitchen, the spaces, it's tight spaces, the movement in the kitchen, finding things. So you can see I got a few scars and some of that from trying to be in the kitchen.
Yes, sir.
What lured you into the kitchen? How did you end up in the kitchen and really enjoying being there?
Well, it was a few people. So first was my great-grandmother and my grandmother. Okay. Old school country folk from North Carolina. I've never seen my great-grandmother work with any type of measurements. She just did it until, okay, that's enough, and she moved on. And it always came out perfect. The other gentleman was actually early on in the Food Network when it first came about. I don't even know his name. I just remember old male, red suspenders, blue shirt, country guy. And he cooked with a lot of wine. So I remember as a little boy, he would pour a little bit into the recipe, and then he would, woo-wee, and then he would take a sip himself. Yeah. I said, okay, he's having a little bit too much fun. I need to learn that. Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, there was a little Cajun. Yes. I remember, I don't watch a lot of TV, but I sort of remember that guy as well. Yes. And so, do you really like to eat what you cook, or do you like others, or do you like it, or what?
Honestly, well, it's not that I like to eat so much. I'm very much into serving and service other people. So I think the first time, I'm not even sure when it was, I saw a real fancy meal prepared. I was impressed with it. I saw the artistry, I saw the creativeness with it, I saw the discipline in it and how clean the presentation was on the plate. Yes. I wanted to learn how to do that. Not so much so that I could eat and enjoy myself. It was really, I was a young guy. I wanted to impress the young ladies. Yes. So my first time out trying to cook, I miserably failed, but it was still sexy to me. Yes. It was fried hot dog slices and cheese eggs.
Nothing wrong with that.
Now, I've come a very long way since then.
Yes.
To where now I'm cooking with exotic proteins to simple stuff that people may be familiar with, the lambs and shark steaks and things of that nature. But it was the creativeness that I saw.
Yeah, and that's what it sounded like. It sounded like, you mentioned you said the presentation.
Yes.
Yes. And so how important is that presentation?
Extremely important, because if it looks good, automatically the person it has to taste good. And it just so happens my stuff looks good and tastes good and it makes you feel good. So that's what the dining experience is.
Yes.
It's more than it's bringing back those old memories of going to grandma's house, or Thanksgiving, or holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas dinners, or barbecues during the summertime that take you back to those memories of being on the beach as a little kid with the family. So that's what the dining experience is supposed to be. So clean presentation is a must.
Okay.
It is a must.
Yes, yes. Now, what about maybe what are some of the dishes that you have made that stands out that you can recall?
Well, definitely my first one, the fried hot dog slices and cheese eggs. But I like to cook.
Now, have you tried that again lately?
Never.
Yeah,
Never.
You can't make it any more creative. You can't add something to it.
My taste and have matured.
Okay, okay.
But I mean, it can be a wide range of things.
Yes.
I love seafood, so
Okay.
I like a nice crab cake, crab salad. Last night I experimented with a lobster salad. They came out very nice. Nobody complained about anything. They were very quiet and thanked me as I was leaving.
Great.
So it can be. It just depends on what mood that I'm in and what time of the month or season we're in. Because I want to work with fresh ingredients and seasonal things as well.
Yes. Okay. And what about some of the things that a lot of us eat? Chicken and beef. I mean, is there a chicken dish or something? Can you do anything with chicken?
There's so many things you can do with chicken. I mean, you can fry it, bake it, broil it. But I mean, so many things. Well, I love Korean fried chicken. Crispy. It's juicy. It's just perfect to me.
Okay.
Perfect to me. The only chicken I'm willing to put up against my grandmother's chicken.
Okay.
That says a lot.
All right. Yeah. Now, for me, I'm from the South, so something similar to that was just a duck.
Gotcha.
Well, tell me about the duck dish that you have.
So we have a confit duck dish.
Okay.
It's duck leg with seasonal vegetables, marinated 24 hours, and then just get a nice crisp to it, pan-sear it, finish it off in the oven.
Okay.
Very nice.
All right. And what about beef? What do you do with beef? What can you do with beef?
Well, my favorite that I haven't made it in a while. It's my 48-hour braised shortbread.
Okay.
So basically, I sous vide it. So it's cooked for 48 hours at 130 degrees for 2 days, 48 hours.
Yes.
Take it out, and it's marinated in seasoned soy sauce. So once 48 hours are up, take it out. I pan-sear it just to warm it back up because it's basically cooked. So I'm just warming it up, bringing it back up to temp, perfectly falling off the bone, falling off your fork, seasoned meat, very juicy, extremely tender.
Okay.
I cannot go wrong with that one.
Okay. Yeah, now, I understand you do some catering, right?
Yes, sir.
And so in catering, what size group can you cater to?
I can cater from 50 to 100 people.
Okay.
Depending on it, buffet style or if they want service, meaning I need to hire temps to come serve them. But right now I'm doing 50 to 100 by myself.
Okay. All right. And so it's the same menu that you would do at a stationary location that you can actually cater out as well?
Well, catering events, I tend to make those a little bit personal.
Okay.
One, budget always plays a deal into that, and the size of the party. But I base everything off what the needs are of that particular client for that event. And again, the budget. So I try to tailor make everything according to each event and venue.
Okay. And what are some of the type of events that you have catered for?
I've been fortunate thus far. I've been a catering chef for the Washington Redskins, where we were catering pretty much the entire stadium, team owners, the broadcasters, things of that nature. I've done things for state government in Virginia, through ACTS, that local government, local organization, and then just whoever, word of mouth, friends and family who reach out to me to take care of special events, anniversaries, holidays, or mourning the transition of a lost one.
Well, that's great. Now tell me, what is one of your favorite dishes that you can prepare?
My mussel dish. I like it because it's quick, it's not and it's inexpensive. Probably $25 altogether for me to get the ingredients. But made fresh, bacon, blue cheese, spinach, white wine or beer to give a nice robust flavor to the broth. 2 or 3 minutes and it's done.
Yes.
5-star, a 5-star meal in 2 minutes.
That's great. And so I would say that you probably have gotten some compliments from that.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Well, I really appreciate that, and we may have to have you some time to come to one of these venues, or
Yes.
maybe even on set to prepare one of those dishes for us.
I would look forward to that.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, what I want to do is take a short break.
Okay.
And then I want to share, some things that you're trying to expand into, share that with our audience.
Yes, sir.
We're about to take a break, but before we go, I would like to remind you that First Home Alliance is a HUD-approved housing counseling agency serving the National Capital Area. If you're a first-time home buyer or a homeowner in need of mortgage assistance, please visit the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to find a HUD-approved agency in your area. We'll be right back after the break.
With First Home Alliance. A little bit about First Home Alliance. We are a HUD-approved housing counseling agency that was established in 2002 by our executive director, Larry Law. He established the nonprofit. He established it because his mother purchased her first home at the age of 65. And everyone was like, how did you do that? Because her income was really low. And so that's how he found out about the USDA program. And so through the USDA program, his mother was able to purchase her first home. It intrigued him to see how he could help individuals basically experience the American dream of home ownership. So he established the nonprofit. Mission is to increase home ownership to low to moderate income families. And so what does First Home Alliance do?
Welcome back. You're watching Rock Your Block, and I'm your host, Larry Laws, on First Home Alliance. And if you're just now tuning in, we're joined today with Chef Ron Reaves, owner and operator of Kitchen Veterans LLC. Ron, before you break, I said it was going to bring something special to our audience about what you're going to do with what you're doing with Kitchen Veterans. Yes. But one thing I wanted you to talk about is about, we was talking about that clock.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You've been around a few clocks,
Yes, sir.
Tell me about working with the boxers and the UFC fighters.
Well, I grew up around the sport of boxing my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
My father was the one who got me into it. As a little boy, he actually trained with Sugar Ray Leonard.
Okay.
When I got older and joined the military, that's when I picked it up and took it serious because I needed something to do and wanted to stay in shape.
Okay.
When I returned home from Iraq, it actually served as a very good coping tool, coping mechanism, if you want to say, because I had somewhere to place all of my anger, my frustration, and confusion in a very healthy manner.
Okay.
And it actually served me very well. I boxed professionally for 13 years. Didn't make a bunch of money as a few guys that I know have done, or accumulated any type of fame or anything like that. But I was able to be around guys that I respected, like Floyd Mayweather and Andre Ward, and I trained with Paul Williams in South Carolina. And it was just very good training, just a good mechanism to help me get over what I was dealing with PTSD, and I earned a little bit of respect in the process.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes, oh yes. I didn't make the money or get the fame, but I was known not to be played with, that's for sure.
Yes, so you was out there, you had a purpose.
Yes, sir.
yes. Now, how did the, preparing meals and being a chef, how did that, work with being a boxer and also training other boxers?
Well, it took me some time to actually put the two and two together. Mm-hmm. I was so focused on, now I've learned these skills to cook and work in the kitchen. Off the break, I wanted to learn all the fancy stuff.
Yes.
And it was my mother who was like, nobody eats that. Why are you trying to make shark extra? No one eats that. Mm-hmm. Do simple stuff that's real nice that people can relate to and build off that. So that's what calmed me down. And then I just had a aha moment because one of my friends reached out to me to prepare a meal for him while he was in training camp. And that's when I put the two together and I began to really pay attention to nutrition and remember a lot of the things that I went through as a fighter with nutrition, cutting out sugar, the breads and things of that nature, and then learning that what this athlete needs is completely different from what a stay-at-home mom or someone who works a 9-to-5 needs.
Okay.
You know, because their metabolism is just different. It's night and day. You go out and eat 5 hamburgers from McDonald's,
Right.
it may be a problem. They can do the same thing, but sweat that off in an hour.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
So,
Okay, yes. And so with that, and you mentioned PTS that you
Yes, sir.
had experienced something in that area. And so how did that, was one, boxing, I can truly understand because, you know, boxing, they got full attention. There's a
Yes.
lot of energy going there, focus, and you can easily forget or maybe something that is that's in the mind, you can put that in the rear.
Yes.
How is cooking, how is that related to putting something behind you and actually concentrating on preparing a meal?
well, there's a lot of similarities when it comes to culinary and the military. One is the discipline, you know, following procedure, following steps. You know, people watch Gordon Ramsay on TV and you hear him yelling and he's cursing and all of that good stuff. Now, it may not be to that extent, although I have worked in kitchens like that, but there's a reason to it.
Yes.
You're working in a kitchen that's not that big, probably the size of a regular home kitchen, but you're servicing 200 guests. And everyone's ordering something different.
Yeah.
So in the span of 4 hours, you're literally pushing out close to 500 to 1,000 meals, depending on the size of the restaurant. So discipline and efficiency, being clean, working neatly,
Yes.
you know, and speed, executing, but still presenting that clean presentation on the dish. You know, these were skills that I had to figure out, but at the same time, I had to learn that there are different avenues to get where I want to go in culinary.
Yes.
So I learned over time that working in a restaurant is not the best suit for me because of what I deal with the PTSD. It's very abrasive.
Right.
I have no control over what's going on, and you got a million things coming at you so fast.
Correct.
That's when I made the transition over to private chef,
Okay.
personal chef work,
Yes.
where it's more intimate. I'm with one family or one client, and
Okay.
it's whatever their nutritional needs are that have been given to them by a doctor, or
Correct.
just whatever they've read in the book. And
Yes.
now they want to try this California diet or
Okay. Yes.
or whatever diet that's out right now that's popular.
Yes.
So I'm able to tailor, you know, what triggers me to fit what I'm trying to do.
Okay, and I can, you know, just listening to you, I can relate to that a lot, you know, in reference to working in a restaurant with all the things. Not saying I can't do it, I can organize and do very precision, but I would easily stab myself around a lot of people and sharp objects, you know, but put me alone, maybe I could operate. Now, how do you think this, and you moving in a direction with Kitchen Veterans, how could you help other veterans with this, with what you're doing now?
Well, I've learned through trial and error things that that work for me and what does not work for me. Like I said, the restaurant setting the way that it is not suitable for me. Too abrasive, a million things coming at the same time, and like I said, you're doing a lot from a tiny workstation. So what I'm looking to do with Kitchen Veteran is to put it back in, create an atmosphere that's more like military-like,
Okay.
meaning that in boxing, my coach will say, I need you to learn how to think without thinking. It's basically what the military does. We execute, we're direct with it. So I would like to put together a concept that's very simple, but very high as far as my meal production and output to customers, and at the same time, I'm able to give veterans a place of employment, a place to be creative, a
Okay.
place to be able to vent by using food, the tools that helped me once I stopped boxing.
Yes, and so you're saying that you actually want veterans and train them to prepare food?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so you're maybe growing what you're doing now?
Yes, sir.
And so how would that look for a group of veterans performing a task like that?
Well, for right now, I'm looking to take my one-man army of myself preparing all this food to maybe 3 or 5 other veterans who either already have chef skills already, or have a little bit, or looking to learn how to cook, just learn basic cook skills. And we take on different catering events.
Okay.
the ultimate goal for me with the catering side of my business is to be able to get high-end clientele, Mercedes, and maybe working a Super Bowl event, things of that nature, or things more closer to my age group, Rock Nation brunch. With Jay-Z. With the personal chef side, I would like to continue what I've been doing. I've worked for I've worked for the Prince from Saudi Arabia, doing embassy work. I've been chef for the bishops of the Catholic Church. You know, so I would like to continue that line as well. I love working in those atmospheres. Like I said, it's more intimate. I'm able to get to know the people a little bit more than what's shown on television and see the human side of them. So it's fun.
And I know you work with some high-end clients there, and you worked in some fabulous places, some large kitchens. But I understand there's a giving side there where you give back.
Yes, sir.
You know, I actually met you on a Thanksgiving Day where you was actually preparing a meal for some female veterans.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that Thanksgiving meal that you prepared for those veteran females.
Well, I'm extremely big on giving back. Like I said, I'm a veteran. I want to give back to my veteran community that I'm a member of. I know what it feels like to be homeless. I've slept on park benches, metro bus stops, and would sneak into McDonald's at 5 in the morning to wash up and still go look for work and still train for boxing at the time when I was boxing, and no one knew that I was homeless. So for me to be able to give back that small little bit of just, I know you're here, I see you, you know, and to recognize their existence, that made a world of difference for me, because that's not what I experienced going through some of the homeless shelters for some of the that they have for veterans. Watching a veteran who, because of his nutrition needs, because of the medication and things that he had going on, he was only able to eat lettuce and mustard. That didn't sit well with me, you know. So for me to be able to give back to those ladies and to know that they have their children there staying with them was a very big deal. I don't know what their personal situation is or family lifestyle is, but just to let them know, I see you. I see your existence. I see who you are as a person. I see who you are as a spirit. This is my thank you. You don't even need to tell me thank you for what I'm doing.
Well, we really appreciate what you did, and also the Final Salute House, the transitional house for female veterans and their children. They want to say thanks to you for doing that as well.
Thank you.
And I want you to continue to do what you do, and I hope that you can grow what you're doing and expand so that you can reach out and do more for other veterans.
Thank you, sir.
And I want to say thank you for coming on, and I would like to invite you back, of course, to let us know how you're progressing, and also to see if we can get on that set with the kitchen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Chef Ron.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this interview and found some of Chef Ron's experiences as inspirational as we did. For more information or questions, you may email Chef Ron or follow him on Instagram. Now it's time to check our inbox and see how we can help rock your blog. This is where we share instant questions sent to us from you, our viewing audience, about financial stability and housing. Today's question comes from Alexandria, Virginia. What is the difference between an appraisal and a home inspection? And do I need to have both? That's a good question. An appraisal and a home inspection is different. An appraisal actually lets you know the value of your property. It is ordered by your lender and it's required before they actually will approve you for the loan. A home inspection is for you, the homeowner, the home buyer. It gives you a good look at the structure of your home and its appliances, and it's very important. And yes, both. One is required, the other is highly recommended. And if you can, you want to get the home inspection as a contingency on your real estate contract. I'm Larry Laws of First Home Alliance, and it has been my pleasure sharing with you our mission and highlighting people in our community that are making an impact and those who are impacted as well. If you have questions about financial fitness or how we can help make your dream of homeownership a success, send your question to our inbox and tune in to our next show to see if your question was selected to be shared with our audience. You can easily get more information about our services by visiting us on the web at firsthomealliance.org. Thank you for watching today's segment of First Home Alliance, and join us next time to rock your block.
glad to know that, you know, some of this stuff about, like, I don't know, credit and buying houses is like written down somewhere. A lot of the times it's always hearsay, like other friends or family members who have bought houses before, but they can never, you know, tell you legit what you need to get done and do before buying a house.
I definitely think this class should be required for all first home buyers because a lot of times the real estate agent doesn't explain the process to you. So I think this is very important.
It's from the credit up to receiving a loan, and the most important thing is the process that you go through when you're buying the house, and there are a lot of process which you don't have idea about that before you take this class.
Speakers who came up and spoke about each section, they were very knowledgeable in their field, and I felt like it was relatable. They didn't just throw out a whole bunch of terms that went over my head, but they really explained it in a way to where I understood it, and I could even explain it to my children, and it was even easier for me to take home and kind of remember and process and apply to my next steps. The process was amazing.
They start first with the class before even finding a lender or agent. Because I did all that and I wasn't able to purchase. And then I was like, you know what? There's a lot of information I'm not aware of. Let me just start from the beginning to put everything on hold. Start from
Piecing the information together, because you've heard things about the loans and about this and about the credit, but this is like a summary, and it just gives a clear flow of where to go with what you have and kind of building up a plan. So that kind of gives me a whole picture of where I needed to go and how to get there.